أهلا وسهلا فيكم متابعينا بحلقة جديدة من برنامج يلا. اليوم حلقتنا حنحكي فيها عن قضية ليست سياسية وإنما قضية إنسانية، وهي قيام حركة حماس بخطف 240 رهينة إسرائيلية من يهود ومسلمين عرب ومسيحيين. تم تحرير أكثر من 100 رهينة منهم، ولكن لازال هناك 137 رهينة من أطفال رضع وكبار في السن. حنبدأ بتغطيتنا بلقاء مع والد طفلة اختطفتها حماس رهينة، ولكن تم تحريرها خلال الصفقة الأولى اللي صارت بين إسرائيل وحماس، وهي إيميلي هاند اللي عمرها 8 سنين فقط، حيث اشتهر والدها توماس هاند وهو الأيرلندي والكاثوليكي الديانة بلقاءاته الصحفية واللي بكى فيها بعد اختطاف بنته ومقتل زوجته السابقة ناركيس أيضا خلال هذا الهجوم في 7 أكتوبر. لنعرف أكثر عما مرت به أسرة توماس هاند وكيف هي إيميلي الطفلة المحررة اليوم، وعن رسالته حول الرهائن المتبقين. تابعوا هذا اللقاء من برنامج يلا. Thank you so much for joining us today, Thomas Hand.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I can only imagine how tragic and nightmarish October 7th was for you and your family. You lost your first and only wife, Nاركيس, on that day. And your daughter, Émilie, who was 8 years old, was kidnapped by Hamas. Tell us about that day.
Yeah, it started up in the morning, 6:30, a bombardment of Qassamim from Gaza. The sirens went off, you could hear the boom, boom, boom going off. Once the bombing had stopped, I could hear gunfire. You just knew it was something bad. Rang Nárkis.
So you called your former wife?
Yeah. Made sure she was in the bomb shelter. At some point, I think it was an RPG, they fired at her house and partly blew up, partly was on fire. And at some point when she felt it was safe, she ran out. She came up the path. As she was turning right, they shot her. I've seen where she fell, like blood-stained path. 20 meters from her mum's house. She almost made it.
Wow.
So that's Nárkis. At the same time, I told Nárkis, ring Raya, her friend, where Émilie was staying overnight.
Was she able to deliver your message?
I presume so, yeah.
But then what happened?
They were in their bomb shelter at Raya's. 6-7 Hamas terrorists came into the house, smashed open the door, took Raya, Hila, her daughter, and Émilie, led them away to the waiting trucks, took her off to Gaza. There were 3 statements. Émilie was found, she was found in the kibbutz, and she was found dead.
They just said, we found Émilie. She's dead. And I went, yes! I went, yes, and smiled. Because that is the best news of the possibilities that I knew. That was the best possibility that I was hoping for. She was either dead or in Gaza. And if you know anything about what they do to people in Gaza, that is worse than death.
So that's when you made the statement that if Émilie had died, it's better her nightmare is over.
It's better than what the rest of the women, girls, men, elderly, babies are going through
right now in Hamas's captivity.
Yeah. They're not getting any medical attention. I know now that they got very little food, quarter of a pita. When she came out of Gaza and the Red Cross handed her over to me, you could see she'd lost a lot of weight. But it didn't matter, just happy to get her back. We can take care of all that, any problems we can fix.
Absolutely. What did she share with you?
Very little. The psychiatrists have said to us, you shouldn't question. Could damage them even further. Whatever they feel they want to say, whatever bubbles up, then that's fine. She said At first they didn't drink the water. They tasted it at first, but smelled like sewer water. So they didn't drink for days until they had to. They had very little to do. The main pastime was drawing and clafim, cards, anything that was very quiet. Because the Hamas, if they spoke higher than a normal speaking voice, they'd say, uskut, uskut.
Means stay silent.
Stay quiet, stay quiet. And I guess one day they were talking just a little bit too loud and they came up with a knife and said, be quiet or we'll kill you with this knife. To an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old.
One of the things you mentioned in the previous interview that Émilie was talking very quietly when she returned.
Not even a whisper. It was basically, you had to read her lips. I had to put my ear on her lips, and it was still very difficult. Yeah, they were kept that quiet. She was afraid still to talk.
How is she doing now?
Extremely well. If you met her, you wouldn't believe she spent 2 months in Gaza. We're giving her lots of therapy, like psychiatrists, psychologues, horses. Her whole being has been crushed, emotionally, physically. So if you can imagine sitting on a massive horse, a beast, but you're in control of it, that gives you a lot of self-confidence back. Singing lessons, just to strengthen her voice, anything we can think of to help her back to the way she was.
You are a Catholic Irish,
Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic, who lives in Israel, and you can only, I mean, for me as well, when you're talking about something so inhumane, so monstrous, but then there are people who would come and try to politicize and justify. How does that make you feel, Tom?
At first it made me very angry, because I thought they were intelligent people saying it and doing it, but I've realized they're very, very ignorant. They don't know what they're chanting. Like, they're against genocide, down with genocide. And on the other hand, they're calling for a genocide from the river to the sea. You ask them, what river? They don't know. They don't know what sea. It's purely Jew hatred. Why? Can anyone tell me why the Jews should be hated so much when they've contributed so much?
What is your message to them? I want to tell you, Tom, most of our audience are in the Middle East, North Africa, and you understand the realities of the region. We've seen that there was growing peace between Israel and a number of Arab countries very recently. And there were more to come right before the terrorist attack by Hamas.
They didn't like it.
The massacre. So what do you tell our audience about those realities and that perspective from somebody who basically lives there? You're from, you know things that maybe some people in other parts of the world don't.
For sure. As an Irishman, as you know, the Ireland in general is pro-Palestine for a reason. Most people won't realise the reason. It's history, England invading, we were oppressed. We were the underdogs, the Irish, so they try to apply that to a completely different case with a completely different... Very good, Yes. Doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. I understand where it comes from. Yes. So, with that in mind, I came to Israel slightly pro-Palestinian, not anti-Israel, but I had sympathies. I understood where they were coming from. Until 2005. Tell me what happened in 2005. 2005, Israel made the most monumental step towards peace with the Palestinian nation. Massive. It almost split the country in two. There was almost civil war over it.
This week, the last Israeli soldier left the Gaza Strip. and military law there was ended. The State of Israel proved that it is ready to make painful concessions in order to resolve the conflict with the Palestinians.
Did we even get a baby step backwards? No. Once the Hamas were in power and we gave back Gaza, now they're much closer. Now all their missiles can hit me, and we were peppered constantly.
Yes.
So that was my feeling of, well, we've made a big peace move to you, and what do I get back? Missiles. Thank you very much. No more sympathy. None. That finished it for me.
Tell me about what are you hoping for now that, thank God, Emily's safe, but there's over 100 other hostages.
Well, first of all, let's hope most of them are alive, because they have been murdering them, capturing babies, keeping babies hostage, keeping elderly people over 80 hostage. You know, elderly people need medication and care. They're quickly dying just by neglect. They should just let them go for humanity's reason, mercy. Let the old people go, let the babies go.
And it goes against Islamic law as well.
Ah, totally. It's not religion, that's just hate. Hate.
Finally, anything you want to say to people in the Middle East, North Africa, also about the prospect of, you know, the future of what will happen to our region in light of the fact that we have these types of organizations like Hamas and of course the Iranian regime, and how do you see that?
Well, obviously all the terrorist organizations throughout all the Middle East are funded, supported, encouraged by Iran. Everyone knows it. All these other people are just puppets being used, being sacrificed even by Iran. Hopefully Iran will keep out of it properly. They won't be stupid enough to show their true colours, because if they do, they know the world will crush them. They won't exist anymore. But that's what we have to do now with the Hamas. They cannot exist anymore. On that day, on the 7th, just like Pearl Harbor, there was no declaration of war, but they invaded Israel, killed, maimed, raped, kidnapped civilians. You can't call an 8-month-old baby a soldier, an 89-year-old man, woman, children, my daughter included. That's not war. That's pure terrorism. And how dare any newspaper or any broadcasting channel call them militants is beyond belief. How dare you? How dare you?
I want to thank you, Thomas Hand, for joining us today. Your message is very important.
Thank you.